hirai is the kanji for left and migi is the kanji for right. As you can see, they're written a little bit differently. And you know that the strokes, the order is different. It'll end on a left stroke. Go here, you go around with your brush, and then calm down and swift to the left. So that is the left kanji, and then you go here, here, and here. Now for the right kanji, you want to start hirari, harai, stroke, and you go this way, swerve, and this way. It ends on the right side, and then you come down and make the box. So that is the 2 strokes that I've been working on, and they have kind of like the order and stuff. The same thing here, where you start here for the for hirari. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this one is for migi. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4. This stroke is shorter. That's what they were doing up here. This stroke is shorter and this stroke is longer. And then in the migi kanji, this one is longer and this one is shorter. So it does kind of help you learning shodo. Kind of does help you with the stroke order. Because a lot of times it's really easy to get this confused, but that's the way I kind of remember it. The left kanji character will end at the left side, and the right one will end at the right side. So it kind of helps to remember how to write it. But when you get into other kanji, like this one that don't have you know, these 2 kanji, this one, it can get a little confusing. But this one is obviously longer here, so it's for the right one. So you would start at the short, at the top, swerve, and right. And then this one is opposite, where you'll start with the short stroke, and you'll go right, and then swerve up, and swoop down for the rest of it. So you'll see a lot of kanji that have same parts or similar parts. And shodo does help a lot with writing kanji. Now this is my first attempt, so it's not that good. So I'm going to do a few more and practice. Hey everyone, I thought I would just kind of go over my notebook for my shodo. I usually use this. I set my my ink pot on here, and sometimes I'll rest my brush on here, so that's why that's there. Little mini notebooks, but this one's the cover was put on upside down, which is kind of weird. But so this is my shodo notebook. I have a whole bunch of tabs here, but it's not all filled in yet. So this is the front. I used to have a thing in here, but it must have fallen out. So, oh no, here it is. This is actually the one that comes with your kits. I've already read it all. It comes inside your kits. Kind of just shows you how to prepare brushes, shows you how to hold it, and then all the parts and stuff. So, it shows you how to make ink, how to make sumi. It talks about the bag, such. So here is Yogun no Shokai. So it just has all of the tools that you need for shodo. Or, well, you don't need them all, but these are all the tools that I've seen anyway. All the tools that you can get for shoro. I don't have them all though. And then it talks about brush type, sizes, blah blah blah, how to prepare brushes. And then I have a list of the dots. And then you can see I have it marked down here. So those correspond to these tabs here. And I have the strokes. And then they correspond, of course, to the tabs on the side. So there's just some doodling. So this is the first one, yokokaku. Yokokaku, which is the, you know, the horizontal one. So I just have the little notes. Some practicing. These aren't very good. I was just practicing with my fude brush. And here are some of my strokes. I have examples and then just information about the stroke. Just start it during the stroke and then finishing the stroke. That one's pretty simple. And I have tatekaku. Tatekaku is the vertical stroke. So it kind of shows you here how to complete the stroke. Here are a few samples. And then here are examples of the ending parts of the stroke and examples of what type of kanji they're used in. And then starting in process of writing it and ending the stroke. And then some examples. And we have hirari harai, so the left stroke part. So there it is, some examples of hirari harai. And then some more examples. My notebook isn't complete yet, so I don't have them all filled in yet. And then we have migi harai, how you write it. And my example of the best stroke that I had, because I've done it a lot. When I do pages, I practice the stroke over and over again, but this one was one of the best ones. And of course, some examples, and then the two strokes. Inochi, some more examples. Nothing on this one. And then we have sori 10. Sori. Then this one kind of goes into that one. We have the ore, which is the break, sori, and then magari. So this is the one we're doing in this one. The sori. Would be this one here. And you have sori no iro iro. So various sori strokes and the kanji they're used in. And then how to write them. Or how to write the stroke. And then some more. So we have magari and sori. Here's those two strokes. And this one must be the magari stroke. So my notes are kind of a combination of different books and tutorials and stuff. So they might be kind of all mixed up. My notes usually do get mixed up a lot though. Okay, here's the next one, ore, which is the break stroke that was in the other page. So we have examples of ore. And then the ending of the ore stroke and how to write it. There's some examples. Oh, sorry. Some examples. This one is actually kind of easy to write. Some of them are really hard though. Okay, looks like these ones are blank. So let's go down to the tens. Sokuten. Sokuten. Is this dot? There's some examples and some example kanji. So I'll be practicing these again. It's been almost a year since I've done this probably. And then we have Kyojin-ten. Kyojin-ten. Examples, how to write it. And then this this dot, but I didn't write the name of it in here yet. And then up here have some just old stuff. This one is from November last year. Katatsumuri. And this one was from December. And then December, my name, Naruto, and heavy, my two heavies, faces. I think everyone has done those faces. It says baka. You make a face with a circle and then you use the alphabet. So we have he, no, mo, and su here. So it's kind of cool. You can make faces. That one's hoshi and onigiri. That's it so far. Those are just some, I don't know, I was just playing with the ink after my lesson. And the lesson, this one was talking about the hen section, which is this part of the radical, the hen radical. You know, like where it says ito hen, this must be tsuchi hen. So it's just a part, is a radical. So this one's tsuchi, that one's nin, sui, kin, onna, te, ito, and ki. And it's just this little part on the end. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. I have that. And then you saw this, it's still drying. It really gets so messy. You can see it's still wet, even though it's been sitting here for a while. This one is my other book, so I'm going to try to, because it's going to bleed. Let's go this way. Should be okay, I think. Yeah. So this is this book. Not much in it. And, okay. I still want to keep this blank because I plan on doing something with it. And these are some of the first strokes that I have practiced. So we have kanji, and then I decided to do hiragana. And I was using lessons online for these ones. Okay, and then we start the hiragana. So hey everybody, it's been a little while since I've worked on my fude brush.
ぐーっときてポン払ってトンと、こんな感じですね。はい。で、ペンなのでさておきですね、ポイントとしては一番大きいのはですね、こういったところ、いわゆる止め跳ね払い、皆さんも、はい、当然聞いたことあるかなと思うんですけれども、本来払うべきところは払うよ、止めるところは止めるよ、跳ねるところはしっかり跳ねるよ、こういった動き一つ一つをしっかり、クリアしていくと、そうすること
So hey everybody, sorry about the lighting, it's really early in the morning, and yeah, I'm the only one in the house. Jeez, that's so weird. Hey everybody, so I'm off about working on Shodo, which is the Japanese calligraphy. I don't have an instructor. There are a lot of tutorials and other such lessons online that you can look up, and that's kind of what I've been using. I would love to find a teacher because this would be pretty interesting to me to learn traditional Shodo. Would be really cool. I really like Shodo because it teaches you a lot about the stroke order and how to write kanji correctly and everything like that. So I really like learning Shodo, and I like the way it looks. I'm not that good at it, so I just want to disclaimer that I have no teacher, I have no teaching, I have no education in Shodo. What I use, the only things I have are these. So I have Ninensei, and I have Yonensei, and then I have a Gonensei Shodo book. So pretty much these are used in elementary schools, and they have a lot of the information needed to learn how to start writing, doing shodo. So it doesn't go too much in detail. I don't know if the Ninensei one had all of the beginning strokes, and then this one just had the kind of a few of the strokes. Because once you get into the Yonnensei, Yonnensei one is mostly, it doesn't really have very many strokes. It just has parts, which are important too. So let's see that. You can see that looks probably like Nureru, Nagareru, Hoshi. So it kind of gives you a example for you to go by, and then on the back it gives you all of the Yonnensei kanji. So they write it for you, and then they also do the strokes as in you would in shodo. How to make the sumi, which I will not be using. So the sumi is, it's a little stick of I always say oil, so if you hear oil, that I mean ink. But they give you this is susuri, so that's the pot that the water or the ink goes in. And then this is sumi, so this is the ink itself and how to make it, probably how they made it. And that's kami, so that's the paper right there. So you have the 3 most important parts of shodo, and of course there's brush. The brush is also important. And we're going to start with, I believe it's sayu. Is it sayu? So it's left and right. And this one I've shown before in another video I took on how to write it, so they're written differently, as you can see. And I will probably also pick a few random kanji from the back, just the Yonnensei kanji. Centrals in shodo are, this is the water dipper, this is the water dropper. Here, this is the sumi stick, so it's inside this box. You would take the sumi stick and you would rub it, add a little bit of water, and you would make your own ink. Depending on how much water is in there, depends on how dark the ink will be. So this is the kind of like the reservoir you use. You can use it either side. I always use this side. They keep falling off. I don't know why they keep falling off. There we go. So that one fell off again. I just took some glue in there or something. We'll just leave it in here. And it just rolled off that way. So these are bunchin. I have these 2 here. The 2 smaller ones. And then I have the long one for my older kit. Seen this one before. So all they are is weights that you use to hold down the paper. I have my brushes in here, and this is the ink. There's a little bit left in this one, but I have another one in case I run out. And this is a new brush, and you pretty much just have to kind of soften it in water, kind of break it in. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull the whole piece out because I don't want to lose stuff. That leaves this part empty. And then you have your tegami, or the hanshi. I have some already that I'm going to use. And this is like the mat to keep the paper from slipping. And then this is just kind of like the waterproof mat to put underneath. So let me go ahead and grab that. So this is not the best at all. It looks nothing like it's supposed to. I guess I have forgotten how to do the hirari harai, I think is what it is. I can't remember this stroke here because it's really hard to remember it, so I may have to review a lot of my work. See, yeah, it is hirari harai. That's the stroke that I'm kind of forgotten. They do have a review of all the strokes. So you do a yoko kaku, and you use the hirari harai, and then you also use the ore pretty much for this, and you also use tate kaku for these two kanji. So this is, I'm going to show you them side by side. It's kind of hard to show you with the wind from the fan though, so apologize. None of them are worth keeping, but it's just good practice. So here's the first one. Whoops. You can see my harai stroke is very poor in it. My second is a little better than the first one. The harai at the last one is still really bad. It's just not, I wasn't turning the brush correctly to get the stroke right. This one's a little better. Thank you. There's those. And then the final one is this one, which is okay. I'm still getting this stroke a little bit off. It doesn't look quite right, and there's a lot of bulging here because I'm not twisting the brush right, and the square looks a little bit weird because you're supposed to go in and then out and then in and out. So it's supposed to look kind of like a V, almost squished box. So that's incorrect. Still, this one, the stroke right here is too long. This isn't straight. So I mean, there's just a lot of things that kind of I need to work on. But I'm going to work on a few different kanji from the same grade level, Yonnensei, and we'll see how they go. Okay. So the pieces that I do, most of them end up in sort of a scrap pile to use for cleaning brushes and the Suzuri, the inkwell pot thing. I don't think I'll be keeping any of these, which is fine. It's usually what ends up happening. I noticed a lot of mistakes. Like I said, I haven't had any sort of official training or been to any sort of class. It's been a while since I've done this, at least since the beginning of the year. My last one. This is November 22nd, 2016. So there is that one as my one of the last ones I've done. So I really like this one, so I kept it. So I kept all of my shoulder work that I like in this bag. I did a video on this. I think it was one of the study months. At the end of a video, I went through all of the shoulder that I keep. One of the kanji I did was shupatsu. This is one of the kanji. This is one that means departure, and I didn't do very well on it. You really have to study the kanji and sort of the curves and the spacing. Everything plays a part in making a kanji look correct, or at least really, really nice. You know, utsukushi. So this one's not very good, but like I said, it's been, what, almost a year since I've done any sort of shodo. I've always had a struggle with this. I've always struggled with this stroke, but it actually doesn't look that bad, because you should see some of my beginning ones. Oh, they're really bad. So there's that one. Not very, very good at all, but if I would practice more, then I would get better. This is chol, or E. It's chol, stomach, not very good. The spacing's all wrong. It's centered okay in the middle of the page. It should be a little bit bigger, and the spacing on how long the lines are pretty off. So that one wasn't bad. Wasn't very good. This one's the kanji for joy, I believe. It's in the verb yodel kol bu, and that one is a little bit better. I was gonna try practicing the the yokokaku, which is the horizontal, and the tatekaku is the vertical ones. So I was trying to practice more of those strokes too, because I was literally out of practice with the harais, the angled ones. So that one's a little off center, and you can see it's tilted a little bit. But I mean, the lines comparison wise are pretty good. About the right length, not really the right thickness in the squares. Like it says tilted, so it wasn't. Must not have been sitting centered. This one is gi, and it's seen a lot in like the kanji fujiki, which is the one I see a lot. I started out okay. I kind of forgot actually how to write it because of the way it was printed in the book. I couldn't remember if these were two separate lines, but they are. And then I got a phone call in the middle of it. Really broke my concentration because I was doing so good until I got to the bottom part. So it's okay though. The spacing's alright. It's a little bit more close to this side than I want it to be. So you see how much gappage is over here. And then you can see how much little gap here and then huge gap at the bottom. So you really have to make sure you pay attention to spacing when you're doing shodo. And this one was really bad. I actually forgot the stroke order once again. It's really weird when you know the kanji. You've written it 100 times and you get to shodo and you're doing it so slow that you're like, which is the next line? Which line's next? So like, this one did it to me too. So I wrote moody. So that one wasn't. Don't look at the D because it's not spaced right. And this part's way too small. I did that dot wrong. I'm not very good at the dots yet, by the way. I didn't really study the dots last year. I did more of the harais. And then the first year I did like the horizontal lines and just all the other stuff. I'm not good at writing like the hiragana yet. Those are actually like, you think they would be so easy, but the way you twist your brush can make it look completely different. Like you had to be careful. So here's moody. I tried to do compound kanji, didn't come out very well. So a lot of space up here, a little bit less here, and the dot's wrong. The spacing's okay, this line is wrong, and the spacing, all of that is wrong. So I don't know. And then I did June. which is very tiny. I didn't intend for it to come out that small. You see it's not very centered on the page either, so this part is not long enough. These should be a little further down. But, you know, that's how you learn. Is usually I will keep writing the same kanji at least 3 times, and then I usually will pick out my favorite one and keep it. A lot of times that won't be what happens. But I decided to go through a variety of different kanji. So, and here's you, I believe is pronounced. I think it means brave. I don't really remember exactly. I don't see this kanji very often, but I did see it recently in one of the shorter lessons the other day, and so I decided to go ahead and try writing it. And it went okay. The spacing's a little off. This ore is the ore is ore. It's broken. Has a break in it. It kind of curves out weird in this line. Once again, the harais, I'm not twisting the brush right. There's a certain way you hold the brush, and there's a certain way that when you come down, you kind of have to twist it so that you're not getting this sort of like, it's kind of hard to explain. You want it to be like a solid line that just kind of narrows. So you lift your brush slowly, whereas instead of twisting it so that all the bristles kind of spread out, and you just get kind of like a scratchy flick. Instead, you don't want that. But it's been a while, like I said. So, apologies for all the bad shoulder, but that is what I did. So be it. And then I did show you my Sayus. None of them are really worth keeping, so I will be using these as cleanup papers later. So I did 4 of them, I think. None of them are really that good. And I can actually show you what I mean by scratchy. You see how the tips on these are pretty consistent? That's what you want it to look like. You do not want it to look like this. Oh, it kind of scratches off. That's what you don't want it to look like. So you just have to remember that it's all about spacing and the length of the lines and the curves of the lines and things like that all make a really nice looking piece of artwork, pretty much is what it is. So anyway, that's all I have for today. I will see you guys in the next video.